games. But more specifically, video games. Video games are very special to me, and a lot of others as well, I'm sure, but this is my video, so we're gonna talk about me. Video games have got me through a lot of tough times, actually, and while I'll never forget the moments I had playing them, and a lot of games I love to death, finding a favorite game is like asking your middle school crush out, like, hey, I kind of like you, and just think maybe it'd be kind of cool if we went out for a bowl of cereal or something. I don't know. Unfortunately, relationships never last, but my feelings do, Becca. But you know what does last? Video games. And we're going to be talking about my favorite video game today, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Brought to you by the incredible, gifted other people. My beautiful boy, Chris Seaver over here, which, not to brag or anything, but him and we tweet occasionally, I don't know, like best friends or something. But early in the N64's life, him and his team got together to make a game called Conker's 12 Tales 64. Unfortunately about 12 Tales 64 is that it didn't last. It actually got canceled. Because a lot of people were comparing it to Banjo and saying how that Conker's 12 Tale was just a copy of Banjo and Rare needs to stop with these cutesy platformers. I personally don't see it, but whatever, people were fine with it before and then they just decided they weren't. And I'm assuming Chris saw this and was like, fuck it. Then bada boom, bada bing, Conker's Bad Fur Day was a thing, and yes, that rhyme was planned. Conker's Bad Fur Day was released on March 5th, 2001 from Nintendo 64. And this was actually kind of a big deal for Nintendo at the time since they had a kid-friendly reputation to hold. But Conker just came in and shattered all of that like it was nobody's business. Not for the best though, since Conker was an adult-rated game, it had to be put behind counters or on high shelves so kids couldn't be tricked. The game came to around about only 1 million sales. While Conker is a great game, it only matched like 1 million copies sold. That's pretty low for Nintendo. Since the game was marketed toward adults, on the console that was marketed toward kids, the two demographics just didn't mesh well together. Why am I doing this? Also didn't help much that it was released pretty late in the Nintendo 64's life cycle. But ew, stop with this adult stuff. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I just want to see a squirrel fight some poop. And fighting some poop, we will. The world of Conker's Bad Fur Day is full of nothing but colorful characters, but I really think Conker, as a character as himself, is the best character in the entire game. And I think it's made that way for a reason. The game's about the funny characters, the journey you have, doing the unique things for the characters. Actually, a really cool thing about this, like in Mario 64 where you get the power stars, the cutscenes are the power stars to this game. You want to keep playing more because you want to find out what happens next. It's kind of a weird concept, but I really think the cutscenes are well worth the time it takes to get to the next one. And it really helps that every cutscene is fully voice acted and animated. And let's talk about the animation for a second. The animation in this game for an N64 game is outstanding. It's almost like a cartoon brought to the third dimension right. I love it. I think it's fantastic. So not only was Baby Storm listening to Oops, I Did It Again on repeat for the 700th time back in 2004, but Conker's Bad Fur Day also got a remake in 2004 called Conker Live and Reloaded, and I want to talk about it. That's what the segment's called. Now I know when talking about the remake, a lot of people really don't like it, but I don't think that's a good enough reason just to put the remake down in general. There's a lot of merits to this remake, and I'd like to go over them. Oh my god. Look at these graphics. The jump from the 64 to the Xbox is staggering. This game looks so good. And a lot of the comparisons I hear is that it looks on par as an early 360 game. And yeah, I see it. Everything in this world is extremely detailed. You can definitely tell a lot of care was put into every bit of graphic enhancement that this game added. Conker now has real-time fur. That's pretty cool. I prefer his look in the 64 version compared to his look now. Gotta say, I'm not a big fan of how he looks now. I think if they gave him gloves, I would like it a bit more. But as he stands, oh man, I can't stand those hands, bro. I really can't. And someone must have thought this was a bad idea because in Project Spark, they brought his character back back normal. But we're not talking about that train wreck. Back to Live and Reloaded. A really big common complaint about the remake is that they censored a lot of the swearing in the game. Now, while I do prefer the N64 version because of the swearing, I don't think you should put down the Xbox version because of the swearing. But it is funny to think about. The console marketed toward adults got censored, but the console marketed toward kids didn't get censored. It's just kind of funny if you think about it like that. But that's the cursing I can get over. The biggest problem for me is the animation in Live and Reloaded. Some of it looks good. Some of it looks really bad. Some of it looks unfinished at that point. The whole point of Conker's Bad Fur Day was that it was making fun of cartoons. So when you mess up the animation in the game, it kind of takes a bit of it away. The most noticeable one I can really think of is the bull shark scene.
Oh, good ladies! Now, here's some money. Now, give us back our money, honey, and you'll get your dollar. What? $1? Oh, good ladies! Now, here's the money. Now, give us back our money, honey, and you'll get your dollar. What? $1?
Yeah, that definitely didn't look finished, but if I let that destroy this game's reputation, I'd be a complete asshole for doing that, because this game is actually great. The remake actually does, because like I said earlier, it does have some merits, and the remake does do a lot right. Now, besides the animation of the cutscenes, Conker himself actually has some great animation to him. I feel like he's more squashed and stretched than he was in the N64 version, especially when he does the long jump. The game's frame rate takes a huge quality up, which makes the game a lot more playable than the original N64 version. There are enemies spread around the whole land, you know, making it feel more like a traditional platformer where there would actually be enemies all around. And they even added this new baseball bat fighting mechanic. It's alright, I don't mind it, but it's there if you want it. There's no original multiplayer, but they did do that for Xbox Live. I never played it, so I ain't gonna talk about it. Live and Reloaded does add a little bit more to the original N64 version, and honestly, while some does hurt it, a lot does benefit from it. So this is the cheaper copy, so if you can find this, it's backwards compatible on any Xbox One nowadays. Doesn't matter what region you have, since it's region, you know, free. It can. I'm sad to say the future doesn't look bright for the red squirrel we all come to know and love. With the flop that is Project Spark and that god-awful young Conker. I'm not even gonna put footage behind me because that sucks, right, Storm? Yeah, just yeah, it does. It sucks a big one. Oh, absolutely. I have hope one day we'll get him back, and I really think a great way to do it is to get him in Smash Brothers. Honestly, I don't understand why. There's this great looking render by, I'm afraid if I'm gonna get this wrong, I'm sorry, but you know, the screen will be behind me, but Iman Pelletier? He did a lot of Conker stuff a little bit ago, and they're all fantastic. And hey, Chris Hero, you know, my buddy from earlier, he said he'd even be down to reprise his role as Conker just to bring him in Smash Brothers. So there we go. We have the model. We have the voice actor back. Come on, Sakurai. What are you doing, bro? Come on. Put these together. Please. So overall, Conker's Bad Fur Day is my favorite game of all time, and I'd say it really defined me as a person of who I am today. Without that, I wouldn't be the same person. I can guarantee it. Actually, a little known trivia about me is when I was little, I wasn't allowed playing the game. So when I got my first laptop and I found out what emulators were, I downloaded the ROM of it, and I distinctly remember taking it to my brother's room and being like, "Bear, look, I got Conker's Bad Fur Day. Don't tell Mom. I'll get in trouble." And those are just some good memories I have. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the game, and if you can find a copy, definitely grab it. It's a really good experience. Or try emulating it, since I know the original copies go for like 500 bucks sealed in the box and like 60 off. So whatever's cheaper for you. However you're playing it, enjoy it.